very clear to the dog, I know what you really want, but it's not me. That's okay. I still need you to do this and then this. Now let's say you heal 5 steps and your dog wistfully looks back at the cookies and you're still going. Here's what I do. So here's my sad dog. Leave him there. And now I'm handling, and I look back and my dog is wistfully staring at the cookies. I join them because I feel sorry for them, so we'll go look at them together. So we go. Is this what you wanted? I know, they are delicious. Did you want to smell it? Here, let me open it. Doesn't that smell good? I know, but you can't have it. I shut it. I put it. It's not that I'm not sympathetic. I'm kind of sympathetic, and we start over. Eventually what happens is the dog gets a pretty good understanding of how this is going to work. You want the cookies, I know what you want. I'm not going to talk you into working. But if you want them, you're going to have to do it my way. Now, Burrito also, at the same time I started working some really hard engagement stuff with him, I also started having him work for his dinner. So that was about 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I am so pleased because after 4 weeks, he now, when I take the food and I put it on the couch thing here, for 4 weeks, I would go over here, and when he'd look at me and ask me to set up. If he set up, we'd go get the food and feed him. 4 weeks before I could put the food down, and before he would just glance at it and come with me. 4 weeks is a long time for him to figure that out. But, you know, what are you going to do? And just now, and then I got that up to like 5 seconds. So set up, and I'll wait there 3 seconds, let's go get the cookie, because he does need to be able to do that. And now, 3 or 4 days ago, I started adding, there's the cookie, and now I went up the steps, so now we're even further away from the cookies, but he got it. So now he just comes right along. All he has to do is set up and go get the cookies. But what I'm trying to teach him is, I know what you want over there. There's only one way you're going to get it, and that's my way. But what I'm asking is so easy. He has done it so much that the only variable that has changed is, one, the value of it, because he wants his dinner, and the location. It's not on my body. It's over there. And you need to be able to move away from the cookies to get the cookies. And that, it's just going to be slow, not in any hurry. After he can do that, then I'm going to add a pivot probably. So I'll walk somewhere out in the house. They could be in another room, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to set up, and when he sets up, I'm going to help him. Up, 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 up. Good, now let's go get your cookie. And then the next day, maybe a little bit backwards, let's go get your cookie. If at any point I set up, and I say, up, 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 and he takes off for the cookies, that's fine, we'll go admire them again, and we'll start over. He has to be convinced that there's only one way. And that if he checks in and out, they're not going to happen. So that is a really good answer for a dog that you know is pretty confident, and his choices to check out if the cookies aren't there are because he really doesn't understand that what he does here is what causes the cookies there. A lot of people do reward their dogs outside the ring after they compete. In my opinion, most of those dogs have no idea that what they did in the ring has anything at all to do with those cookies outside the ring. Well, you can teach the dog, but you have to teach it. It doesn't just happen by accident that the dog figures that out. And the second thing is, even if the dog did figure out that every time they leave the ring, they're going to get cookies, did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, think about what did I just say? The dog figures out the sooner they get out of the ring, the sooner they get the cookies. Well, how is that going to make your dog want to be in the ring? I mean, it's just illogical. So you have to teach it. And then when you go to a fun match, you show your dog the cookies. You don't hide the cookies. And you put them on the chair, or if you think your dog might take off, just lock them in the crate. Show the dog, here they are, there they go, now we lock it. And then you come in the ring, you do 5 steps, you leave the ring, you get your cookies. You come back in the match ring, you do that over and over until your dog understands what I did here, gets that. But it'll cost you a fortune if you only do that at matches, because it would take a couple hundred of them, right? So that's why we teach it at home. It's exactly the same concept. We've just moved it. Then you come to training class, you set up your crate outside the ring, you say, these are your cookies, here's where they live. Can you get one exercise? One retrieve. One recall. Great! In the beginning, I would bring the cookies back into the ring when I used them.
Don't give agility people, though, a lot of reward outside the ring.
Yeah, there's a couple differences though. One is just the sheer amount of time. In agility, a good run only takes 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's not 20.
Yeah.
I want your dog.
Yeah.
She did
say
I have to
good
admit, the dog that's in my head is
Jumpers.
jumpers.
But I mean, a clean, fast dog, okay, 30 seconds, but still, an obedience run is 5 to 10 minutes. So, in terms of back chaining, you know.
So in agility, that would be okay to leave something out of it?
Yeah, but I'd still teach it. I mean, yeah, a lot of dogs will figure it out, but I would still, if you, the other thing is a lot of dogs don't run agility for what's outside the ring anyway. How much does your dog care? If your dog just lives for the sport, then it's fine that you left it outside the ring and played, but the dog would have done it anyway, because they're just like so into it.
Right.
Mostly I leave toys outside the ring so I have him on something as I'm leaving the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different. Obedience for most dogs is not quite so
It's like focus on this, let's go.
intrinsically interesting.
And we train
for
with
the dog.
toys all the time,
right.
so we're used to having
Yeah, well, you know, there's
randomly.
not a lot of great See, the
So-
thing about agility, I do think there's actually a drive to use your bodies. And I see it in like babies and children. They're constantly practicing. Lifting up, sitting down, lifting up. And watch young puppies, 3, 4 weeks old, they're just learning to walk. If you watch them, they're driven to learn how to do this. If you put a box in their pen, they will climb on the box.
Yeah.
They will get off, they will climb. There's a need and a desire to use your body. So agility, I think, is just sort of playing to that desire to do things. So it's just a little different. In agility, I'm sure there's a lot of dogs that have no idea the toy they got outside the ring had anything whatsoever to do with it, but it may not matter. Because if they were happy to be out there anyway and having a great time, it just doesn't really matter. They're going to do it because they like it, and then they get to play. What a deal. And also usually, they play all the way up to the place. It's not like, in obedience, people don't usually do that because it would just get people be mad at you. So, whereas in agility, it's normal to be playing outside, not right on top of the ring, but kind of in that area.
Right on top.
And then sort of at the last minute, you take your leash off, maybe you were playing with the leash, you get rid of it. So it's just a different structure. But anyway, so think about it. Is your dog doing it because he loves you so much? Or is your dog doing it because he likes the food? And then that does influence how we go forward. And I mean it when I say this is not a good or a bad. It's not like these dogs are good because they love you and these dogs don't love you. It's not that they don't love you. It's just that they really want their classic reinforcers.
Different stuff.
Maybe they weren't bred for it. Maybe they were bred to do something else and they're humoring you. That's fine. So why don't you bring the dog out? Let's see what we have and we'll just kind of go from there.
Should I bring cookies on me?
Yeah. No. I want to see what best case scenario. I can worry about the worst case scenario then.
One question about when you said if you're not distracted, you're trying to grow up play.
Depends how hard I'm going to be. Yeah, usually not. Usually, let's say I turned a corner and did a little bit. Usually I go back to that corner. So like 3 to 5 seconds. Some people are hard. I mean, they make the dog do minutes, and I think you need a pretty tough dog to get away with that. I'm just going to watch you. I want you to take your time, engage your dog however you normally would, and I'll worry about you. Don't worry about doing what I want. Just do whatever you normally do, and we'll sort of work on it. So normally you'd let your dog look around a little bit.
Obviously not in the obedience range. She
No.
can't do that, but I mean,
Yeah, but here.
situation I think that she was like, do I need to be guard dog here?
Yeah. So while you're letting your dog do that, that's fine. I'm going to talk about that issue.
Responsibilities.
So what do you do if your dog requires acclimation, but then you can't do that in the obedience ring? Well, in the same way that I train with a lot of food, eventually I have to be off the food in the ring. So it's a process, right? It takes time. So what I do, first I let the dog do this as much as they need. I call that walking acclimation. The dog walks through the area. But the next thing I do is looking acclimation. What that means, I pick an area at a park. I put stakes in the ground. And I say, that is where I'm going to train. I let the dog walk around absolutely everywhere, except inside that square. I do not give the dog any food. I just walk them all over the park, but not in that square. Then I get out food. When we walk in the square, food shows up. If the dog says, oh, I haven't sniffed in here yet, I immediately remove them and say, you can sniff all you want out here, but you don't sniff in there. The other thing I'll do is then put the dog on a downstairs sit, say, looking into the ring area, close, so the dog starts to understand that once work stops, acclimation ends. And even if it's a new area where you haven't looked around yet, you are not going to get to look around. So your choices are between leaving the working area and sniffing, or working my way for cookies inside. Now the dog starts to understand, oh, I can't sniff everywhere. That'll get you in the ring. But I'm not in any hurry to get there. Because they get there. I think she's getting more awake. So when you're ready to go ahead and start doing some obedience, I would agree she does not look nervous to me.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping somebody would give me feedback on. There she is.
Seems like still she's just interested. Good. Work on your own. Be generous. You just feed her all you want. I'm just going to watch. I'm not going to say anything for a couple minutes till you guys get settled in.
It's just.
Yes. Good. You just keep feeding and walking. Good girl. She does like her cookies. Excellent. Excellent. Give her another cookie. Okay, I want you to leave. I want you to come in and that was lovely vacuum. That was very good. She's in your position. Good. Okay, go ahead and leave the ring with your dog. And turn around. Stop right there. I'm going to have you come back in. A couple little, oh, she's being cute. Come on in and line up facing me. Give her a cookie when you get in front of me. Come on in. She's cute, yeah. It is a problem. Come on. And stop right there. And give her a cookie for that. Good. Leave. We're going to do that over and over again. The first thing I want her to understand is that coming in a ring and setting up in front of a person bodes well. Come on in. Set up facing me. And give her a cookie. And leave. And do it again. It's a fun game. It's an easy game. It's an eating game. And come on in. Feed that. Out you go. Good. Come on in. Lovely. Try not to drop her hand until you're actually going to feed her, because it starts to look like a mirror. It starts to feel like you're saying, please don't not look away. So just keep her hand up here, and when you're ready, give her a cookie. Out you go. Yeah, you give her what you want. She's doing good. Good. Out you go. I haven't seen her make that like that. Come on in. And stop right there. And now give her a cookie. Excellent. That was much nicer. This time I'm going to have you do the same thing. After you come out and you set up, I don't want you to give her a cookie. I will say forward, you say heel. Within one step, I want you to give her the cookie. Good girl. Now, if you think about it, she expects a cookie here now, doesn't she? So she's going to be a little annoyed. And as a result, she's going to walk. I see that first step because she knows you know her. Come on in. She's going to say, where's my cookie? Forward. Forward. Do you see how that works? Exercise finished, stop, go back down. So actually, the way to build drive a confident dog is to withhold a cookie. Because that annoys them. So what do you get? One good step. Wonderful. Reward the good steps. This is forward chain. This time she gets the cookie for setting up. Come on in. Okay. She gets that one and then leave. Good. The reason I'm having her leave, one, is I'm trying to condition her to thinking coming through this gate is a really great thing. I spent a lot of energy on that. Come on in. I'll tell you when to feed her. She's like, this is where I get it. Are you ready? Forward. Good. Reward back. Excellent. Very nice. Start over. Out you go.
I think I tried to take one separate one.
Okay, hang on to her for 1 sec. I'm going to push you a little harder this time. Let's say she screws up. I'm kind of hoping she will, actually. So let's say she gets here, and she's brilliant, but she doesn't get a cookie because you don't always get them. So she goes forward, and she's brilliant, and she's pissed. She looks away. What happened? Take the cookie that you have in your hand and say, don't you want the delicious cookie? Use it all the way out of the rig. Bring her out, turn her around, and we're going to start over again. Are you ready? Don't worry, I'll walk you through it. Don't worry about it. Want to work? Come on in. Good morning. Are you ready? Forward. Right, turn. About, turn. Stop. Show her the cookie. She's not with you. As soon as you feel, show it to her. Doesn't that smell good? That's not showing it to her. Yeah, no, show it to her. Here, this is how you show the dog the cookie. When you go, doesn't that smell delicious? I know, I love it. Oh, that was good. Yum. And walk her out of the ring like that. Oh, that's so good. Just like that. Make sure she's going, oh my God, that was a good one. All right, and stop. Now go neutral. Come on in. Oh, you can hang on to it. Come on. She's not appreciating that one. All right, are we ready? Forward. Good. Right turn. Stop. Show her the cookie. Back her out. As soon as she makes a mistake, probably wait until she calls and she's actually corrected it. There. Back out. I don't think there's any food. Good. Go back out. So you can go out of the ring. Second, you're not, this time she has to succeed, so I'm actually going to make sure she does. But after that, we'll go back to this issue. All right, now go back to neutral. Come on in. Good. Hold. Forward. Right turn. Towards your dog. Good.
Oh, she went down.
And go back out. So I need her to be right at your time so we don't lose her. And then we can worry about her being wrong. Are you ready? She probably is. Like, how many times are we going to do this?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do a couple setups here and then we'll just talk. Come on in, because I don't want to lose her. Good. And reward that, just keep her in the game. Go back out, do one more like that. You know what? Put her away. She's done. She really is. It's like she doesn't care anymore. When you get to the point where the dog's like, honestly, I know you have cookies and I've had enough, but she's done. That's okay. It worked. And then we'll just talk. As a matter of fact, you can train me. I know I'm the dog. What are you laughing about? All right. What I want you to think about is this. Let me think. So I'm on this side, right? I want to talk to you about that. And I'm going to spill over here. When I look away, I want you to practice your timing of how you're going to get me back. So, if that's okay, we can train you. So stay. If you were the dog, and just look away for a second. Good, like that. I want you to do that. Get me back. And then, because we don't have to start the whole thing over, I want you to just circle me around. So, get it, and then just let me try again. And if I make it to you good steps, say, good dog. That's my cookie. I'll work with you. All right. You're not going to be a real cookie, unless you have something I want. I'm ready. I'm a good dog. I looked away. Pretty obvious. Get me back. Show me the cookie. Oh, I do want that. Okay, now go right back into healing. There, now I want it. And then give me one. Yes, that's my cookie. Excellent. That rhythm is really important. The second she looks away is when you need to be aware. Because if you go a few steps, then it's not clear to the dog when they do this, they know they did it. But when the dog does this, and then does all of this, what happens is if too much time goes by and you bring the dog back, the dog can't really identify the moment of the error. When the dog goes from perfect to less than perfect, they are aware of it. That they can capture because it's the same every time. So after 200 times when the dog does this and you go, what happened? Then the dog goes, oh, that's the problem. This is what you want. And as long as there's enough reinforcement for this, you'll be all right. I think a little bit what might be happening with your dog is more of an, I notice that she does very nicely at halts. She sits really nicely and she looks adorable. Something tells me you reward a lot at halts, because that's usually what causes that. When the dog halts where you give the food. You want to, as you're moving, you can give her a cookie. Now, I will tell you, I do not heel and feed. So what I do, I stop. So as I heel along, I go, yes, good dog. That was really good. And then I start over. So I don't ask my dogs to walk and eat because I just don't think they're that good at it. So I just stop. Yeah. And tell her. And tell her. So if you know you're going to drop it anyway, that's fine. Just do it. Just say, get it. Throw the cookie. Yeah, this is going to happen anyway. If it's going to be an issue to get her in the mouth, just make sure you throw it in the direction that rewards what you're looking for. So let's say she's perfect, drop it. But tell her, get it, boo. So she goes, okay, I'm ready. Or if she's lagging, get it, throw forward. If she's too close, get it, just throw. I don't think she's afraid. I think she got a little bored, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me. The answer to a bored dog is not to become excitable. Because the work, if you do that, if you start getting kind of excited to get, like a lot of people will start to run. They use the fast pace to engage their dog. The problem is really you're teaching your dog to rely on more and more activity inside of the work. And the problem is that's just not realistic and it never will be. So I would prefer that my dogs drive me to work. I work for 3 seconds. And in the time after I work, when I stop, that is when I'm excited. So, you want to work? Do you? Yeah, tell me you do. You do. Ready? Let's go. Yes, you did it. Those are your cookies. But the actual period of work, I don't usually give a lot. Because I need the dog to understand that that is a sandwich. So in that point, if you continue to look brilliant, you only have to do it for a few seconds, I will come to life again. But then that 3 seconds becomes 5 or 10 or 20 or 30. But I don't tend to use my movement or being excitable inside of work. I tend to use it, the dog earns it. That's pretty healing. Now, wow, that was amazing. You did good. There's all the cookies. You're the smartest dog ever. Ready? Come on, ready? Let's go. Then I go quiet again. And they don't really have that much trouble with that because they understand that the silence leads to activity. Now, sometimes I'll talk a bit inside of work. I just don't make a habit of running or trying to bounce, or I just don't do that inside of work because I think it's a little hard to get some dogs off of it because they think that is the work. They think mom runs and then that's when I pay attention. Then you're in a normal pace, your dog gets bored and slow, so the dog looks away, so the owner runs. So now if any training is happening, the training is actually that the dog learns that the more they disconnect, the more interesting you get. I mean, I don't know how many dogs do that consciously, but it's not the pattern we really want to set up. The pattern I want to set up is when you're brilliant, I will reward that by breaking out of work. When you're brilliant, I will interact with you, but not when you get dull or disconnected, then I get brilliant. Because I think that's not the best setup. Yes, ma'am.
Interesting.
So the whole thing that you talked about, putting the cookies on a table or somewhere else to start getting them off of you. If you have a dog that is more of a toy dog,
Yeah.
and will only really work with enthusiasm when they think you have the ball somewhere on you, would you put the ball, obviously, how would you work from there?
Same. But I mean, so if at the beginning you have to put the ball on a table and you walk away and the dog just looks, and when I say walk away, that was a poor choice of words. So let's say this is my setup and I have the ball and I place it on the table and I stand here and the dog looks at me, just pick it up and throw it, right? So it's the same
So you
picture.
go way back, okay.
Yeah, you can start as small as you go. Small is better.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's easy to push it. Until, if I go like that, I don't even care if they're a little sullen in the beginning. Because sometimes like, I don't want to do this, so they creep up like that. I don't care. I'm still going to run and get the ball because eventually they work through that sullen stage when they realize I'm wasting my own time. It's the same as the dog Rito, who would go and check the food before he'd come to me. He eventually figured out on his own that hanging out here wasn't doing him any good. So now it's almost instantaneous. I put it down, he sees it, but he just runs right with me because he's like, that didn't work for me. Some people get a little hung up on, if you can't do it looking happy, I'm not going to give you the food. The problem is that assumes that you can make happy where there isn't a happy. He's not happy. He does not like this new game. So my attitude is, but I love this game. I hope it grows on you. And it usually does, you know? They start going, oh, I get it. But I think that sullen behavior is kind of just normal. And I just all teary, like I don't even notice it. But small pieces.
Yeah, I see that. If I have a target and I want to put a cookie on it and the dog knows, we're right there, we put the cookie on and the dog races to the other end. I'm like, let's go, let's go.
I know. I'm actually having that exact problem. Some dogs don't have that much trouble understanding, if I do this, then I get that. Like, they just totally get it.
Yeah.
If I run out and touch that with my nose, I get a cookie. Other dogs just, I'm sure they get it, but they don't like it. They want to run out to the cookie. You know, you can use a manners minder for that. But still, it doesn't change the fact that eventually it's going to be different. It's going to be if you do this, then I do that. You know, Burrito's the first dog in as long as I can remember where I put food on targets. Because anything short of that was just not getting through. I mean, he would do it, but he'd look back. You know, he just didn't like it. So, fine, I'll figure that one out next month. You know? And he'll do it without the food. But it's not the same. Any questions about this little dog? Yep, I think so. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah. You know what I do? Stand in front of a mirror. Well, in the field, it goes 100 yards away. So stand in front of a mirror at 50 feet and look at it and then do something. If it's clear as day to you, you're fine. If the dog has to make a fine distinction, you're kind of screwed. So if this is come and this is down, you're dead, right? So your signal should be so obvious that any movement of this hand in here means come. My signals are down for most of my dogs, sit, and come. For Burrito, it's down, sit, come. And the reason I changed his signal is every time I did this, he laid down, so I'm not stupid. Just solved the problem right there. But in field, this is come, isn't it? Where the hand goes straight up. One is down, back, that's the problem. And those dogs sometimes come to obedience and really have trouble with the down. So just change the signal. The thing is, we only have two hands and not a lot to do with them. I actually find it complicated for some dogs to go sit, down, back, come, stay on signals. So I only teach it from the front. I expect my dogs to know some version of down, some version of sit. When I do back up, I always do a verbal with my signal. Back. So there's no question about it. I don't have a stand from the distance because I think it just starts to confuse them, and there's just so many possibilities. I know people have their dogs out there doing all kinds of stuff, and that's great, but I think you need the right dog. So with dogs that I don't think are that good at all that stuff, I'm like, what do I really need? I do need to back up because it's the easiest way to do more signals at a distance rather than calling the dog back. So I like to be able to say, okay, good, back up, now you're standing because I backed you up. Right, so now I can try whatever it is I'm looking for. And I do think that was a wonderful recall signal until I realized how many dogs go over the jump. Then the dog gets in trouble for that. You know? And I learned the hard way that my down signal looks a lot like my stay from the front. How did I learn that? Stay, boom, down, again. Now, I just told you that. So you're going, well, duh, of course. You don't go duh, of course, when it's in your head. Because when it's in your, okay, well, here's an example. When your dog's in the heel position and you say stay and you walk away, and your dog pops into a stand, why would they do a thing like that? Watch me again. Stay. How many people use this for stand? A lot of people. How many use that for stay? Have you ever thought about how that would come down to a dog's perspective? A quick dog, of course they pop into a stand. So what do? No, sit. So now what happens is you give your stand signal and your dog gets slow. It takes people a long time to realize, because in their mind, but this is stand. They'll understand that. But when you're coming down to give your stay, what is your dog seeing? A big open hand moving. Now it gets worse. Sit, stand, S-T. So when you go, and your hand is moving, it's no wonder that a lot of, am I going to say stay or am I going to say stand? You don't even know. Because all I got out was the st. Sit, stand, stay. Those three are hard. And they're all in the same person. They're all right here, right? Lots of dogs. You say stay, the quick ones. The responsive dogs, boom, up into a stand as you're walking away. There's just no surprise there. But when we're not in context, we don't see it from the dog's point of view. So I tell people, stand in front of a mirror from a distance and go through your signals. They should be so obviously different to you as best you can make it. And the other thing is some people do little tiny signals. This is my favorite. Sit down. I know your hand was coming down versus going up, but from a dog's point of view, this and this just don't look all that different. Yeah, I know you're going, you can sit. Well, that's because it's in your head. What the dog sees, that is way too subtle to have this and this. You just can't have those two. Some dogs will weigh you out and try to figure it out. Some dogs just figure you out. I'm amazed by some dogs. There's some dogs I just won't take home because they're like so smart that way. Then no matter what the owner does, they go, I bet that means you want me to run out to that spot 50 feet away, doesn't it? Damn, I need one of those spots. Yeah, that's what this means. Run away, and they just do it.